Hi everybody, I'm going to be making breakfast entomatadas. This is a delicious Mexican breakfast, but you can also serve them any time of the day. Today I will be filling my entomatadas with bacon and eggs because that's my Ron's favorite filling, but you can choose your own filling and I'm sure they'll be delicious too. These entomatadas are very easy to put together and today I'm going to show you how I make them step by step. Let's get started. I've got my griddle nice and hot and I lined it with a piece of aluminum foil and I've got my heat set on medium high. So I'm gonna set my tomatoes right here. They're nice and large, see? And I've got 2 Serrano peppers, 1 piece of onion, and I've got 3 garlic cloves. So I'm gonna be moving them around slowly until they get real nice and roasted. Now as you can see, everything is nice and roasted. I'm gonna turn off the heat. I had already removed my garlic because I didn't want it to burn. So I'm going to remove all of this and take it to the blender. So now I'm ready to blend. I'm going to put my onions in here, my Serrano peppers, and here's my garlic. I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to blend them before I put my tomatoes in here. See, now that I have that nice and blended, I'm gonna put my tomatoes in here. Push them in there. I'm gonna add some chicken bouillon. That'll give it a delicious flavor. A little cumin and some pepper. And I'm gonna blend this real well. And that's perfect. Now I'm gonna clean up my area and take this to the stove. So I'm gonna be using this pot to make my entomatada sauce. I'm gonna put in a little bit of vegetable oil. And I'm gonna put in my onions, because you know I like a little texture. And I'm gonna move them around until they get slightly translucent. See, just like this. Now that my onions are slightly translucent and they have released their delicious flavor into this hot oil, I'm gonna add my entomatada sauce. I'm gonna let it come up to a very light bubble. Then I'm gonna lower the temperature down to low and I'm gonna let it simmer until I'm ready to use it. And now we can go to our next step. So now that I've got my entomatada sauce simmering, I went ahead and moved it over to the other burner because I want to use this burner. I'm going to go ahead and fry my bacon. Now I'm going to fry my bacon until it gets to a real pretty golden brown. Just like this. So while my bacon is frying, I'm gonna beat my eggs. I've got 5 eggs in here, see? First I'm gonna break them up just a little bit like this. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. And I'm gonna add some water. I think that the water gives you fluffier eggs than milk does, but you can use whatever you like. Now I'm just gonna beat my eggs really well like this. So now that I have my eggs beaten really well like this, I'm just gonna let them sit here for just a little bit while I finish with my bacon. So now that my bacon is a very pretty golden brown, as you can see, and I've also removed some of the rendered fat, okay? So now I'm gonna add my eggs. See, and you don't want to cook your eggs on high heat. that my eggs are almost ready, I'm gonna turn off the heat because you don't want to burn your eggs. There's nothing worse than burned eggs. And these eggs are perfect, see? So now I'm going to remove them off the heat and go to my next step. So now that I have my entomatada sauce ready, and I also have my bacon and eggs, I'm going to fry my tortillas. I've got my heat set on medium high, and I'm gonna be using this small skillet. I'm gonna add some vegetable oil. Now you wanna be adding as much vegetable oil as you need as you go along to fry your tortillas, see? Now I'm gonna wait for my oil to get nice and hot before I add my first tortilla. Now while I wait for my oil to get nice and hot to fry my tortillas, I wanted to answer a question or two. How do I fry my tortillas so that they don't fall apart when I'm making enchiladas or entomatadas or soft tacos or whatever? The trick is to get your oil to be very nice and hot. A little hotter than medium, but not super high, because you want your tortilla to go in and you want to hear it when it goes in. You want to hear that shh, you see? And then you want to give it just a couple of seconds and you'll see little bubbles forming. Then you want to flip it over and you want to wait for those little bubbles to form again. So what you've done is you've seared it from the outside, see? And then you remove it from the oil. Then you remove all that excess oil with some paper towels so that when you put it into your sauce, they won't break apart because they have been seared from the outside, okay? So now let's go back to our tortillas. I'm gonna put in my tortilla. You see how it's sizzling? We're gonna do it quickly. Just give it a couple of seconds like this. See the bubbles forming? Now I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna do the same to this side. See the bubbles right there? Now I'm gonna remove it. And I'm gonna do another one. See, it goes in here quickly. You don't want your heat to be really low because then they absorb a lot of oil, and then when you put them into your sauce, they will fall apart. It's that quick, but it works really well when your oil is nice and hot. So I'm gonna continue the process until I get them all done. So now that I have all my ingredients ready, I am now ready to assemble my entomatadas. I'm gonna be using this large skillet and I've got it set on really low, okay? So I'm gonna get some of my entomatada sauce and I'm gonna put it right here in the bottom. Just like this, and that's perfect. I've got one of my tortillas and I'm gonna put it into the entomatada sauce. I'm gonna put it over here on this plate and I'm gonna put my bacon and eggs in the tortilla like this. And I'm gonna wrap it just like if it was an enchilada. See, just like that. And seam side down, I'm gonna transfer it into this large skillet like that. And I'm gonna do another one. Just like an enchilada, like this. And I'm gonna set it over here right next to it. And I'm gonna continue the process, doing the same thing. So here's my last one. And I'm gonna top them with just a little bit more of the entomatada sauce, like this. And I've got my grated cheese. I've got grated Monterey Jack cheese right here, and it's freshly grated. So I'm going to top my entomatadas with some of the cheese. So now I'm going to replace my lid, and I'm gonna let them sit like that inside with the steam just until the cheese is nice and melted. So I think my cheese is nice and melted because I can see it. So I'm gonna remove the lid. See? Now we're ready to serve. I've got some refried beans right here on my plate. And I'm gonna put 2 of them right here. Just like that. Look at that. So now I'm gonna top them. Very simple. I've got some crema. I'm gonna put a little crema on top. And the crema just goes so good together with this red sauce. A little bit of green onions on top. See, the green onions are delicious. I've got some slices of avocado. See? Delicious. So now it's time for the taste test. You know that's my favorite part. Oh, look at how soft they are. See? Get a little bit of the beans right on top. Oh my gosh. And then my hot coffee. So these are my breakfast entomatadas filled with bacon and eggs. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. Send me a comment and tell me what you think. Thank you.